Hello, my brothers and sisters. Peace be with you. Deacon here. So, I have to start off by talking about what's happened over the last week. So, last weekend, the Catholic Church gathered together. Tens of thousands of people came together in worship, worshiping Jesus. They came together in celebration of the Eucharist, the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus. They came together in worship and adoration of God. Tens of thousands came together, and that was last weekend. So this past week, what do we have? We have the opening of the Olympics in Paris, France. And with the opening was depicted an absolute mockery of the Last Supper. An absolute mockery. I don't even know what to say. I mean, is this a coincidence? I don't think so. In fact, what I truly believe is the enemy is just not hiding himself anymore. I mean, how much more needs to happen in the world for us to come to realize that the absolute attacks on faith, the absolute attacks on that which is holy and sacred is just being dominated by worldliness and celebrated. So, with that said, this week, the church brings to us the story of the multiplication of fishes and loaves. And yes, of course, Jesus took very little and fed thousands. But I want to take a look at the story of the multiplication of fishes and loaves from a little bit different perspective. I want to look at it from the perspective of the domestic church. Now, you might be asking, well, what is the domestic church? The domestic church is the family. It is probably the most important unit of society that keeps everything from going off the cliff. The domestic church. And so the domestic church primarily consists of the husband and the wife, and then the children. But the multiplication of fishes and loaves, that incident that occurred, that is absolutely a reflection of the function of the domestic church. You see, the apostles come to Jesus and say, this is what we've got. And Jesus takes what was given to him by the apostles, and he absolutely increases it. Here's the connection with the domestic church. As a husband, as a father, as the man in the family, he goes out into the world and he acquires. In modern society, it's in the form of money but whatever. The job of the husband, the job of the man is to acquire. And then what does he do? He brings that home into the family and gives it to his wife. And what does she do with it? She increases it. She makes more out of what was given to her. And this is a very important aspect of the family to understand. Likewise, in creating life, the husband gives to the wife of himself. She takes that into herself and increases it, and we have new life. When we go back to the garden, we go back to the original creation story. What we also find is that God has Adam created first. And then God recognizes that Adam needs a helpmate, needs someone to be with him. And so God creates Eve. Now this is important because the function as helpmate or helper to Adam, that function is being attacked in the most vicious way in society today. You see, women, ladies, you need to understand what your creative purpose actually is. You see, for the man, for your husband, you are, in a very ordinary way, but still incredibly significant, You are the presence of God in his life. How many times have you inspired him to be more, to give more, to strive more, not to quit? And that's what God does for each and every one of us. And this is what's under attack. This is what we see played out every single day in society as the genders are attacked. This is what we see being played out, and the enemy is not hiding it anymore. And so, ladies, I strongly, strongly encourage you to be the women that God created you to be the helpmate and the support, to be the very embodiment of the inspiration of God in your man's life. You know very well that when you speak to him in an encouraging voice, he listens. He follows. This is your created purpose. This is what it means, as in the multiplication of fishes and loaves. The apostles, or we can say the men, they bring to Jesus. The women are the very embodiment of Jesus in the home, as that creation of life, as the increaser of life. In that capacity, your role is so incredibly important, to be that inspiration, to be the one that increases life in the home. So as we go forward, it's important for us to remember the times that we are living in are times that will ask of us to stand for truth. Do not feel as though you are ever alone. The Holy Spirit is with you. God is with you. In the end, truth will always prevail. God bless you all. And until next time, Memento Mori.